Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Strict rules that I live by to keep me on track as an elevated woman. Not only has it allowed me to stay on track and stay productive and achieve my goals, but it has allowed me to feel good about myself and feel good about how I interact with other people. Something that I have 1000% learned now that I have approached my late 20s is how important it is to really set boundaries for yourself and for others, and to create a set of rules, habits, and rituals that are going to actually align with your higher self and going to align with what makes you feel good. Stepping into 2026, I really want you guys to start getting a little bit more strict with yourself. When you start to implement strict rules in your life, it actually helps you embody the essence of a woman who feels secure. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I was using HelloFresh for years back in 2018. I loved their meals. So I decided to give it a second try, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it today because I had the most delicious meals this week. They sent me 3 meals and I got to pick them. I made a tuna melt, I made this delicious chicken, and I also made these amazing shrimp tacos, which I actually posted on my Instagram, and you guys were all like, give me the recipe, give me the recipe. So yeah. So good. So a little bit about HelloFresh is it has amazing, delicious meals that you get to make at home. There are different meals for everybody, whether you have a large family or you want to do high protein or you want recipes that are very quick and easy and effective. They have something for everybody, which is amazing. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be eating good, but also it wasn't going to take me forever to cook, which is so important to me. And they were so easy. It actually had a specific cook time, and I cooked everything a little bit less than the cook time. So there's definitely a meal for everyone, even people with children. They have something for everybody, and I love that about them. It's just so fresh, so delicious, and super easy to cook. So if you guys want to try out HelloFresh today, I will leave my code on the screen and down below in the description box. My code is GambaFM at HelloFresh.com for 10 free meals, plus a free breakfast for life. This is the most insane deal ever, guys. I might even put it on my family because I know that they're going to want to try it out, but it is such a great deal. Try it out today. You guys are going to love it. It's just really good stuff. And if you still like to cook and you want to start kind of making some yummy meals during this holiday season, then they're the perfect meals for you. Rule number 1, I do not take any personal phone calls or work calls before 11 a.m. I don't answer any lengthy text messages. I don't talk on the phone, not for leisure and not for work. I like my mornings to be about filling it up with things that align me for the day. Now, as someone who does work from home and is an entrepreneur, I am super aware that everyone's rule for this time is going to be different because a lot of you guys go to work earlier or later, or you work the night shift. So this really kind of just depends on you. But because I work from home, I have decided to create a very strict rule to not be super communicative in the morning. I find that my mornings are done best when they're slow, when they're productive, where it's my way of recentering myself for the day. And it allows me to start it with no anxiety, with no burdened feelings, and I perform better. So this really creates optimal performance for me. It's just muting certain things. If I have to go on D&D to prevent myself, I will. But I've gotten really good at this rule and I honor it. Number 2 has to do with dating. And by the way, if you guys want my strict rules specifically around dating, I can always do a part 2. But my second rule is no last minute plans with men. And honestly, I don't love last minute plans at all. But I would bend that rule for my friends. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it just happens where I'll get a text and be like, girl, do you wanna do a girl dinner? Or do you wanna go to the bar really quick? And I would say, you know what? Maybe, if I have the time. But I do not do any last minute plans with men, even if I have nothing on the schedule. It's just not something that I love because it feels like there's a lack of intentionality. And the truth is, when it pertains to early dating, I don't love the idea of spontaneity. I don't hate being spontaneous down the line with somebody that I've already built a connection with, but in early stages, you should never assume that somebody's just free and available. Number 3 for a strict rule that I live by, and it's that I clean my house daily. No, there is not designated cleaning days in my house. Every day I pick up after myself. And I think that this is something that should just be an overall rule in everyone's life. And I know that that's not always the case. I do have 2 dogs. I work from home. My environment really shapes how I perform. And I think that it does for you as well. And it could be a subconscious thing where if you're constantly walking over mess, it actually could affect your performance in other areas of your life. And I have found that to be true for myself. So I always clean my home. And I feel like It cleanses the energy. It creates a real new day. Number 4, for a strict rule that I live by, and it's that I give myself 24 hours to complain about something. And this also goes for having a deep emotion. Let's give some examples. If a guy ghosts me, 24 hours to be upset, and then I gotta get back to scheduled programming. I do not allow myself to sit in my feelings too long. And maybe for some people that's not healthy. It is for me. What I have found to be the most conducive and productive thing that I can do in my life is to move on, is to pivot, is to not internalize somebody else's behavior, lack thereof, or even something that is irritating me, to create some sort of covering and control over my life. I either solve the issue, let's just say it's something that I need to handle within my own life, I either solve it immediately or I process it and let it go. And this has saved me from rumination, limerence, obsession, and even me trying to control others. When you become overly upset based off of external things, what you're doing is you're giving so much power to things that you have no control over. I do not let things burden my life for a long period of time anymore. Number 5 is I require a slow burn in all of my dynamics. Friendship, connections, romantic dynamics. Something I had to unlearn in my late 20s was that hot and heavy things tend to dwindle out a lot quicker than things that take time to build. I have really become someone who values patience. I do not write somebody off if they are not giving me everything I want and need in a friend or a partner within the first 2 weeks. That is unfair to do to people. And it's honestly unrealistic. I have found that all of my favorite friendships and even favorite romantic dynamics that were built and it was a nice and steady pace, those are the connections that I can count on the most. Number 6, I never go backwards. It wasn't adding to my life. I wasn't benefiting from it. I also have learned that just because I like something doesn't mean it needs to be in my life, especially if it's not respecting me, especially if it's not making me feel good. If I say I am moving forward, that is that. And what I've learned about not going backwards is that there's always something better waiting for me on the other side. When you believe that it's either this or it gets better, you no longer have a negative mindset around loss. Okay, the next thing is that I stay pretty strict with my eating habits unless it's a special occasion. I like to enjoy my holidays, my birthday, and even celebrating other people. I don't want to be someone who feels like my decision to stay healthy and fit is impacting certain celebrations and impacting other people's moments. But what makes me feel good is staying on top of my routine any other time. So as long as I am in routine, I am going to be strict with what I think is best for me. The next thing is I do not neglect my routine when I'm dating. I don't care how much I like you. I will not neglect my work routine, my gym routine, my eating routine, my friendship dates that I have scheduled and planned in advance. No, I do not neglect anything that I naturally do for someone. It is so easy when you like someone to become distracted. Whether it's you're texting them all day or you bend your schedule to accommodate. I don't do that anymore, especially at my age. Now, I do believe in reciprocity and being a considerate person, but I do believe that it is possible to give somebody your time and energy in a healthy way that does not neglect who you are. Okay, another strict rule, and this is kind of funny, is that I prioritize being hot and having fun. If I'm not prioritizing my looks and my enjoyment, I'm miserable. It is something that gives me life. Feeling good, looking good, enjoying your life should be a priority. It should not be secondary. It shouldn't be something that you feel like is like a chore or a treat. No, it should be a priority. I always say to myself, if I am not having fun, I don't want to do it. Now, of course, I'm not saying that everything in life needs to be fun, but there should be fun incorporated in your life, in your weekly routine. What I find to be a really great way to create this is creating an itinerary, a loose itinerary each quarter for the season. Whether it's apple picking, going on a cute fall date, going to a jazz club, going to the ballet, maybe staying at a hotel and having a staycation. It makes me enjoy moments even when things aren't going good. Another rule of mine is I buy myself gifts for certain scenarios in my life. And these are scenarios that don't necessarily require buying a gift. Let's just say I completed a task and it wasn't like a huge task, but I didn't want to do it. I buy myself a gift. Maybe I'll go to Diptyque and get myself a candle and I call it a treat. I call it a gift because it's my way of rewarding myself for completing something. And it really just brings a different sense of just like, to my life, okay? Let's just say I ended things with a guy who was super toxic. Buy myself a new pair of shoes. It just feels that good. And it allows me to really normalize the importance of treating myself, of prioritizing my happiness. The next rule is I will lie to protect myself, to position myself, and to create mystery. I think that lying, although it's not the best thing, it is necessary in certain instances in your life. Sometimes telling the truth is to your detriment, whether it's because of your safety, whether it's because if you were to say to somebody, I just sit on my ass all day and I, don't do anything. Let's just say that that's the truth. Why would you say that? Sometimes it's okay to position yourself by embellishing, by talking yourself up, by creating a scenario where everything works out for you, where your higher self is winning. And I think that that is a super healthy way to teach yourself that you can create your own reality. I'm not saying to lie to hurt. I'm not saying to lie to manipulate. But sometimes you have to do it to your benefit to create something beautiful in your life. Okay, the next one, and I only have 3 more after this, and it's that I do not engage in rage bait content or traumatic content to protect my peace. I don't watch the news religiously. I don't listen to people who create an emotional feeling within me that is negative and unproductive. I just don't put myself in environments or scenarios where my peace is being disrupted. And that could sound like avoidance, and it's because I'm avoiding being annoyed. Okay, the next thing is rituals over chores. I do not view anything in my life that needs to happen as a chore because that creates a feeling within me that I don't want to do it. So if I look at it as a ritual and I romanticize it by saying, you know what, it's not that I'm necessarily cleaning my house, but it's that I'm organizing. It's that I'm creating a space that is livable, that is breathable, that is cleansed. It feels different when you view everything that needs to happen as a ritual. Because when it's a chore, when it's something that you feel like you have to do, it never becomes something that you enjoy. And I have really wanted to create an environment for myself where majority of the things that I do enjoy. And it's not that I necessarily view my joy as like a one type of thing. It could be different tiers to my joy, where, for instance, going on a date will create a different level of joy than maybe going shopping. And going shopping creates a different type of joy than cleaning my house. But I'm able to create joy within every single moment by taking the moment and making it a ritual, a routine, a habit, just alchemizing it in a way that works for me. Another rule is that I justify expensive purchases if it brings daily happiness. I also prefer to only spend money, if it's a lot, on things that I know for a fact will greatly impact my life and will create some sort of daily gratitude. I used to spend my money very flippantly on things, and I think that there was a lot of buyer's regret when I noticed that this was not something that I really needed, but it was something that I wanted in a moment. And hey, sometimes those purchases are fine. But as I've gotten older, how I've really been able to save more money and get things that I want is by purchasing things that I genuinely know will bring me joy daily. So there are certain things in my life that I know for a fact that are expensive that I would really want. My car being one of those things. Every day I get in my car, I love that it's big. I love that it's roomy. I love that it feels luxury. And I never go a day without thinking, oh my God, I love my car. And I really do feel that way. So it was worth the money. But let's just say that I didn't have those feelings for it. I probably would never invest in something like that again. So there are just certain things that I've learned that I don't need in excess. Designer shoes are one of those things. I love them, but they just don't create daily happiness. And I prefer building more a capsule wardrobe or buying things that I know I will get a lot of use out of versus things that I can only use once in a blue moon or that I will never appreciate. And the last and final thing, and this is kind of like a cute tongue-in-cheek strict rule, but it's that I really trust my intuition and value its security and clarity. When I sit back and think about all the moments where my intuition kicked in, it was always correct. And that is such a beautiful thing as a woman to have, is to know that your intuition is a psychic ability and it does create clarity if you allow it to. Rather than diving deeper into discovering why your intuition feels this way, I actually look at it as clarity and a complete sentence. So if I feel like my intuition told me something, I don't need to uncover more. I don't need to dive deeper. I realize that the clarity is within the intuitive thought at whole. So I do really appreciate and value its security, its safety, what it's telling me, and the clarity it brings. And I no longer search for clarity within others. I don't ask for any type of closure, because to me, the closure is within my intuition. It's what my body, my mind, and the feelings that I'm having are telling me. And it's never steered me wrong. Okay, guys, those are my strict rules that I live by. They allow me to be productive, to be happy, to feel good about my life, and to really step into my grown woman era unapologetically. I think that this is something that I think you guys should all consider, and just kind of create a list. Like, sit down tonight and write down some strict rules you either want to live by or that you currently live by, that you can maybe even maximize, optimize, or just enjoy a little bit more. I hope you guys enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone. Mwah.